Welcome, everyone, to the Service-Based Business Podcast. I am your host, Ben Moreland, and today in episode 12, we're going to be talking about how you can improve your service-based business. This is kind of general things we're going to be talking about here, and I'm going to go into a little bit, some details and stuff. When I say improve as well, I want to mention this real quick. When I say improve, I am talking about any way, actually, to improve your business. We're not just going to be talking about, I'm not just going to be talking about, what are things you can do that are going to help you to raise your prices or justify raising your prices. It's some of things in that way. Other things here are going to be a little bit more like, we're going to talk about improving your service-based business. And a lot of these things can be applied to any kind of business as well. So even if you're not a service-based business, there's a couple things that won't apply as much to you. But a lot of these things will apply to every kind of business that is out there. So, without further ado, let's get right into this. All right. Number one, first off, we've got speed. Speed is an incredibly important thing because when you're faster and when you're more efficient, you're going to make more money per hour. So you're not really going to necessarily make more money directly by being quicker, but it will allow you to take on more jobs. And by allowing you to take on more jobs, of course, you're going to make more money, right? If you have 8 jobs, all right, let's say you have 8 jobs for let's say the morning, right, for your morning. And each of those jobs takes you 30 minutes. If you're able to get them to take 25 minutes, well, now you have an extra 20 minutes. You could almost take on another job in that time and then make more money. So speed is very important when it comes to a service-based business. Now with speed, as the business owner and as the business, it's important that just because you're going fast doesn't mean that you drop your quality. Your quality still needs to be there, and that's something we're going to get into a little bit more in a few minutes here. But you really need to make sure that, yes, you're being fast, but you're also being still having you're still being a good service. You're still providing quality, right? So even if you're going fast, you want to still provide the quality, of course, because otherwise people aren't going to want to work with you. Speed is also good for the customer. Listen, your job's not going to take as long. If you're thinking about something like a haircut, you come, finish that shit, get it done. The customer's back to their day a lot sooner. Now, this doesn't always apply because and we're getting something we're going to touch on a little bit later. Not every service is a speed service. Sometimes directly when I'm thinking about a haircut, maybe sometimes there's other things that are more important to you than speed. One of those things would be the experience of using your service, which we'll get into in a little bit. But, for most people, speed. Be quick. Get it done. Of course, do a good job, like I said. But then that customer, they can get back to their day sooner. All right? They're not spending an hour getting their haircut. They're spending 30 minutes getting their haircut, and they're back to their day. And, of course, with larger projects, if you're building, let's say you're freaking building a pool, and you tell them, or if you tell them you can get it done in 2 weeks versus a month, I mean, granted, those are completely arbitrary numbers because I have no idea how long it takes to build a pool. But let's say that, you could tell them, you got a month or you got 2 weeks, right? The customer will be much happier if you're able to deliver them the exact same results in 2 weeks versus a month, right? So speed is very important, I think, for everyone. The only person the speed isn't necessarily good for is the employee, and I think that comes with, to counteract that comes with paying differently, not necessarily just paying per hour, but paying per completion. This is going to incentivize the employee to work faster, right? And of course, teaching the employee how to be efficient with their labor, how to do a good job quickly. That is also important. With speed, it's an important factor is, if the employee doesn't know how to do something, if there's a quicker way to do it that is, theoretically at the same level of difficulty, but there's a way to do it quicker, or, if the employee just needs that training in order to do it quicker, that's all important because that all contributes to speed. But overall, speed is very important for a business. I think especially a service-based business, if you're able to deliver results quickly, I think that's important. And I think that is a good way to set yourself apart. And of course, it's going to allow you to make more money. All right. Number 2, another important thing here is your service quality, your job quality. This is very important for a service-based business. This is actually maybe the number one thing for a service-based business. Pretty close, at least, if you ask me. Because if you do a crappy job, no one is going to want to hire you. No one's going to want to work with you, right? And something to keep in mind there, of course, is that you're pricing based on your market. You want to be careful. You don't want to charge too much in your market, even if you're providing very high quality work, doing a really good job. It's just something you have to be thinking of as well. But with that, of course, if you do a good job and you have your very high quality job, you're going to be able to raise your rates. People are going to be willing to pay for that better quality, pay for that better job. So that it's a benefit to you, of course, to do good work, is you're going to be able to raise your rates and make more money, right? Another thing, if you do a really good job and customers are very satisfied with you, they're going to be more likely to refer you to friends or family or whatever, which of course is going to make you more money because you're getting more jobs, right? Another thing that I like to think about with referrals is that probably if you have a good customer and they refer you to someone, it's probably also going to be another good customer, right? I feel like good customers are going to bring you another good customer, which of course is great, right? Like you want that. You want more good customers versus having, customers. So your service quality, your job quality is very important for a service-based business. Again, that's your reputation. Your reputation is your work. And again, like I was talking about with speed, like you could do it quickly, but you also have to make sure that you do a good job. It's very important. You have to make sure that you're taking the time that you need, right? Don't take extra time. Take as much time as you need. Do a good job, right? Of course, try to be efficient with that. But yeah, delivering good results is probably like the number one thing for a service-based business. So it's very important that you do good work. Don't be afraid to do a better job. All right, third thing that we have here is adding additional services. Now, this is one that has some negatives. We'll get into that in just a sec. Additional services. Why would you add additional services? Well, customers are going to come back to you more often, right? If you are a lawn care company and you mow lawns and then you add cleanups, if a person really wants a cleanup, they're going to have to go to another business to get the cleanup if you don't offer it. But if you offer it, they're going to go with you, right? Or if you're a customer who's looking for a lawn care company and they see that you offer, they have one company A that only offers mowing, but company B offers mowing and cleanups, and they know they're going to want to clean up, they're going to go company B. I mean, there are other factors, but, to numb it down to that, right? All the factors are the same. Numb it down, they're going to want to go to company B because they're going to also have that service. And of course, having more services is going to allow you to have more streams of revenue. You're going to make more money. And with what I just said, your competition is also they're going to make less money, right? If they don't offer the service that you offer, and you offer these services, and they only offer some of those services, people are going to want to come to you, right? The downside of adding additional services is it can slow down your business. Your newer services, you might not be getting as many customers who are coming for that service. And so if you have to go out and buy a whole bunch of new equipment to add that service, to offer that service, that can really not be good if you're not getting new customers who are wanting that service. Another thing as well is you have to make sure that you don't drop the quality of your services because you add the new services. Like let's say if you're doing mowing right now, all of a sudden you're adding, adding like driveway sealing, right? You're a landscape company, you do lawn mowing, and now you're adding like driveway sealing. As an owner, as a manager, maybe you might be you don't want to be too focused now on this new thing, and then the quality of your mowing, which used to be up here, is now down here because you're trying to build this other part of the business. So you have to make sure that, like, if you're adding services, that you do it properly. And there is nothing wrong, by the way, with having only having a few services. Like if you do something and do it really well, like that is a good model oftentimes, right? Like just doing one thing and doing it really good. Like that is a kind of proven good model. But it can also be a good model to have other services, to do other things as well. You're going to be the person that people go to. Think about Amazon. People want to buy stuff online, they go to Amazon. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be books, it could be clothes, it can be freaking stuffed animals, right? Like people go to Amazon, right? So having adding additional services can be good. It does also have its downsides potentially. So you got to kind of figure out, what is your business? How do you operate your business, and is it worth it for you to add more services or not? Right? Maybe it's not, but it's something to think about doing. All right, and the last one we've got here, number 4, customer experience. This is very important, and why it's important is that if your customer has a bad experience with you, they're not going to come back. They're not going to refer you to people. Even if you do a good job, and they just have a bad experience with you, they're just not going to want to work with you because they had a bad experience, right? Again, even if your service is good, but other things maybe weren't there, other things were bad, they might not want to work with you because other things are important too, other than just like your service, your speed and your quality and such things I've been talking about, right? There are other factors as well, and to different people they matter to differing amounts, right? Some people this experience part matters more, but other people matters less, right? So one thing customer experience is your communication. Communication, I think is very important. I think good communication, it makes sure that the customer knows what's happening and can give them more choices, can give them more opportunity to say, let's do this. And as a business owner, sure, that can be annoying, but it's also very important to offer good results. And I think offering that customer satisfaction piece, I think part of that comes from communication and doing what the customer, at the end of the day, what the customer wants, right? And it also helps to build a good client-business relationship, especially for a reoccurring service. Again, I'm going to go back to my example I always use, because what I know is lawn care, right? If you're communicating with that client good and efficiently every single time, you're real quick, reminder for this thing you got coming up here, this service this week, especially, when, again, this is a mowing specific example, but especially, in the summer here, oftentimes we've been getting, past couple of years, it's been dry, grass hasn't really been growing, and so it's not always expected that you're going to come out and service all the time, right? But if you don't communicate, if you communicate with the client and you're like, hey, I'm just confirming this appointment here, that you've got, you're supposed to get, I'm supposed to come mow this day. They might be, let's wait a week, let's wait 2 weeks because the grass is really dry. There's no real reason for you to come out right now. So I definitely think communication is a very important piece for the customer experience, and it's just good to have good communication. It's important to have. The next piece, and this is kind of a general thing, but is professionalism. I think having things, and this kind of ties into the next piece, which is just general the experience, right? And we'll get into that and what that I mean by that and all that. But I think professionalism is very important. Looking like a professional business, matching uniforms, matching trucks with your logos on it and stuff, right? I realize that not everybody can always afford that. Not everybody can have that, especially when you're just starting out. But I think when you're able to afford it, you should definitely get it. I think your workers need to be professional as well. Their language on the job site, shouldn't be, in my opinion, shouldn't be out there, cussing and swearing like a bunch of crazy people. Right? They should have, good attitude, good communication skills, and they should be hard workers. And I think those are things that really make good workers. And of course, they're being professional out there. Even if you don't, all your workers maybe aren't the greatest communicators. I think having at least one guy who the customer can go to, and especially on bigger projects, I think this is really important. Is like, if you're building like a pool, right? If you at least have one guy who the customer can go to and talk to and communicate with efficiently, I think that's, at least you should have one guy, right? But if you don't have any, your customers can't communicate with your guys on the site, and your guys just look like they don't want to be there, or they're out there, using foul language or whatever, or they're just working real slow, like, it's not a good look. All right. And it makes you just look not real professional. So I think there's definitely professionalism is very good. The customer's going to like that. If you ask me, it gives your business a good look, gives it a good reputation with the customer and with any other like onlooker, right? On someone else who's looking from the outside looking in, I guess, right? And again, this is kind of the experience now we're going to talk about. And when I say the experience, I think specifically about like a restaurant. If you go to a restaurant, what is the experience like? And so I think some important pieces are this: is how does the customer feel? Do they feel welcome? Do they feel, are you really wanting, do you want their work, right? And how are you showing that? This is a little bit more important for certain services versus others. Like, something that's more personal, like, again, like barber, right? If you're cutting somebody's hair, like, are you talking to them, chatting up, whatever. And some people don't want that. Cool. All right. But, like, are you chatting it up, or do they feel welcomed, right? Again, professionalism. This is an important part of the customer experience, right? And then just overall, when they buy from you, are they getting an experience as well, right? As just a service, or just the service, right? When they buy from you, is there more to it than just you're coming out and doing the work? That's something you got to think about. Are you also providing them with a little bit of an experience when they buy from you? And I think that can be a really good thing to have, right? To be more than just a product or service, but also to kind of be an experience, right? And doesn't always apply to everybody. Doesn't apply to every business. Not everybody really may want their business to be that, but I think it can be good for businesses. And I think it'd be a good way to improve your business as well, is to be a little bit more of an experience, Anyways, that's really all I've got. I had the energy today, so we banged through it. It's good. Good. Quick episodes. That's really I've got to say. Really all I've got to say. Is just, yeah. Let's see. There's 2 more episodes. No. This episode, 1 more episode. And it's Christmas time. Let's go. But this is all I've got to say now. So I'm going to stop mumbling and or rambling on. Yeah, that episode has been being dropped for 2 weeks now. Haven't even started editing yet. So, as you can see, I am slow. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys got some value out of this. I was quick. I ran through it today. Got it finished. I'm trying to get you guys back out there doing your work, right? Something like that. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.